Hi everyone, my name is Michael Hope. I'm the Assistant Principal Bassoonist of the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra, and I'm happy to welcome you here today. We are reaching that time of year when we would have been celebrating the end of our concert season, and because of that, we'd like to recognize some of our musicians for their career accomplishments. And today, we highlight the retirement of two of our most distinguished players who are here today. Assistant Principal Horn, William Hopson, and from the double bass section, the great Graeme Mudd. Hey, first of all, Bill and Graeme, congratulations on your careers. It's great to have you here. Bill, tell us, how many years in the CPO when you're retiring?
I think the math is right. I think it's 43 years.
Yeah,
this is the only job I've ever had in my life. Calgary,
Wow.
playing horn in the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra.
43 years,
Yeah.
a lifetime. Wow.
Yes.
And Graeme, how long for you?
Yeah, I'm 30, and I had two jobs before that, so 40 years in total.
That's right, you played in the Winnipeg Symphony and where else?
Yeah, principal in Winnipeg for 5 years, and then I was in the Victoria Symphony for 5 years before that.
Wow,
So,
Western
yeah.
Canadian music veteran.
Yeah.
So Bill, so why did you decide to retire, and when did you decide to do that?
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while. Horn is very athletic to play. And the truth is, it like sports, you know, you can go so long and then you start to notice things. I think my colleagues were fine with the way I was playing, but I was starting to notice little things that I didn't think I was doing quite as well. So I just thought, you know, I should leave while I'm still on top, while I'm still playing well and contributing, and not wait till people start to say, well, Bill, maybe it's time for you to leave. So anyway, that's a good time. And plus I have things to do, travel and a lot of other things to do, and family, and yeah, it just feels like time.
Oh, you know, it's interesting you should mention that, you know, that you reach a time when your body tells you, you know, an athlete, for instance, you know, a player in the NHL, his career would last for 15 years maximum now, and you've been going 43 years, and both are highly athletic activities. Speaking of athletic activities, one of them must be carrying a double bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you decide to retire, and why?
Well, like Bill, it's been a few years since it's been at the back of my mind, but my shoulder, my bow arm shoulder, was causing me a lot of grief. My hearing is starting to give me problems, and yeah, it was just time, you know. It's yeah, my wife was fully behind it because I was starting to get miserable at home, and she just went, you can go ahead and retire anytime you want.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, Bill, you know, speaking of the time we've spent in the orchestra, I mean, the orchestra really has changed since you got here 43 years ago. And what to you is the biggest single difference between the Calgary Philharmonic of 1977 and the Calgary Philharmonic of 2020?
When I came in, there were a lot of us, the Calgary Philharmonic was just becoming a professional orchestra, and a lot of us came in at the same age, young, in our 20s, and stayed together, and these people were like a family to me. You know, my colleagues of many, many years. A lot of us were together, well, Graeme and I, 30-something years, and a lot of us even 40 years and 45 years. So it is very much like a family. Now there's that, all those people are hitting the wall and are retiring, and now a lot of new people are coming in. So in a way, it's a natural process, and there's a mentoring that goes on too, which is a healthy thing for the older players to kind of pass on the Calgary Philharmonic traditions and the way we play, and just smart ideas of how to do it well. So yeah, it's a real transition we're going through now, but a positive one, because these young people we've hired are tremendously talented and very nice people, and it's going to be a great orchestra for many years to come.
Wow. Well, Graeme, let's talk a bit about those young people. You know, in the late stages of your career, you've increasingly found yourself surrounded by young people. And speaking of family, some of these people are even younger than your kids.
Yeah.
In your section, your boss.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah.
well, they are the next generation of Calgary Philharmonic players. And tell us, what's been the best part of that experience for you, being around these young people?
As your career kind of you know, starts to draw to a close, I always said, like all through my career, and I remember this because there was one guy in the Victoria Symphony when I was there, and I was like, I make this pact with myself that I will not become the dead wood at the back of the section. And these guys that have come in now, the young ones in the bass section, they have pushed my game. Like they have forced me to bring my game up, and which is fantastic.
Me too. Yeah.
They're just amazing players, like really amazing players. Yeah.
So being an experienced player, what do you feel you offer the younger people when you play beside them?
Yeah. Well, experience, obviously, and just I think just maybe, you know, when we encounter something like a symphony that maybe a couple of the new guys haven't played before, which happens all the time, and I think just sort of the osmosis of playing beside someone who's played this piece.
Just the stuff that you do by
times.
instinct.
Yeah, you know, and but you know, they like, I mean, those guys, they're so prepared too. It's crazy, but there's always little stylistic questions. You know, like, you know, is this normally played a little bit shorter, or is this, you know, what do you do? Is it completely connected here, whatever, and so that kind of stuff happens a lot, and yeah, it's just, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How about you, Bill? What do you feel your experience has offered?
Well,
You've had a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot. Playing in a symphony orchestra requires teamwork like nothing else I can think of. Getting 65, as many as 80 or 90 players to play exactly together is a tremendous challenge. So there's a lot to discuss about note lengths, about timing, about intonation, all these sort of things. And you have to be able to openly discuss all this with your colleagues. I just look around, even after all these years, at my colleagues, and I think how lucky I am to work with people of this caliber, and nice people like that too, that are putting everything they've got into what they're doing. And I just think how lucky I am to be doing this now and to have done this for 40 years. And I just love, it's like a family, the orchestra, and it's a tremendous orchestra that Calgary should be very, very proud of the orchestra that we have here.
Wow. Okay. Graeme, you've got tons of experience. You've played thousands of concerts with the orchestra. As you go into your new life, what are you going to miss the most?
Well, not Bill's playing, that's for sure. That one is...
When I'm right behind you, yeah.
Honestly, that kind of joking around though,
Yeah.
in the orchestra, the humor, so it's such a tense situation a lot of times on stage, and these little funny things happen. It's almost like being in grade 3 and the teacher tells you not to, you know, the next person to make a noise is you know, out in the hall or whatever, and you sort of get that same vibe on stage. But I mean, where the horns are and where the basses are, we get away with murder because we're so far away from the podium, and so there's a lot of funny comments back and forth.
Quiet comments.
Yeah,
That are
and
pretty funny.
curmudgeon corner too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna miss that a lot.
Friendship, absolute friendship. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing, you know, when you put 66 people in the same room and you throw them together for 30 or 40 years, it's amazing the camaraderie that can come out of that whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. So here's another thing I want to know, just as we wrap up. You know, in these strange times, we're finding out that people are missing music and the arts more than ever. Bill, tell me, why is symphonic classical music important to a community like Calgary?
It's high art. I mean, there's nothing greater than a Beethoven symphony when it's really rolling along, when it's got that energy to it. I mean, there's no other kind of music, and I love all different kinds of music, but there's no other music that I know of that can give you that feeling of drive and, well, everything. I mean, the music laughs, it cries, it's triumphant, it's very sad, it dances. I mean, it's just every human emotion is there in music, and I can't think of any art form that really encompasses the human conditions and human endeavors like music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Graeme, what has classical music meant to you over the years?
I think to echo what Bill's saying, I mean, I think classical, you know, you think about all the other forms of music, and they're all fantastic, but there's something about classical music that hits us on such a profound level. I mean, a lot of it can be very frivolous and it's just fun to listen to and, you know, lighthearted, whatever.
Life, yeah.
But I mean, when you're in the slow movement of a Mahler symphony or something like that, I mean, that hits spots
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
human psyche that,
Yeah.
to my mind, no other form of music
Yeah.
can really do. And I think that's probably it. Like you say, it's sort of high art. I don't really like to use that term, but that's, you know, yeah. And we're keeping it alive. It's just fantastic, right? So, yeah.
Well, speaking of high art, high things, and keeping things alive, I just want to say that in my mere 38 years of playing here in the orchestra, it's been an honor to play with both of you and to be your colleague. I mean, both of you really inspired me and taught me things. Graeme, watching you at work has taught me the value of always being positive and relaxed and funny. And Bill, Bill, watching you has shown me just how truly prepared any musician can be when they're as passionate as you. You're the
Thank
model
you.
of enthusiasm in every single way for all of us. So I really
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Great.
Guys, all of your colleagues hold you in the highest esteem, and I congratulate you on your careers.
Yeah. Well, friends for
Thanks.
life.
Thanks,
And,
Mike. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, I am not the only one who has been thrilled to work with Bill and Graeme over the years. To hear a bit more about their work and their personalities, let's hear from a couple of their coworkers. To speak about Bill Hopson, here is now retired assistant principal horn player Laurie Mediation, who spent 36 years sitting beside Bill in the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra's horn section.
Hello, Bill. I am so incredibly thrilled to be celebrating you today and your retirement. When I was asked to say a few words, I thought, where do I start? I remember when I first met you after my audition, and you came backstage and you actually gave me a ride back to the hotel, and you were just thrilled and to be working with me. And I remember thinking, what a sweet, gentle giant. And then I got to spend the next 36 years making incredible music with you and sitting next to you in the orchestra. And what a joy that was. We got to share music together, but not just the stage and music. We got to share ourselves and our passion. We laughed, we cried, and we had some really incredible times together. And I will always cherish and remember those moments that I spent with you in the orchestra. Thank you for your support for me and for cheering me on. We cheered each other on. Thank you for that. Thank you, but more importantly, thank you for your friendship. And I wish you only many, many, many more years of health and happiness. And I look forward now to spending more time with you and going to the opera together. That's going to be so much fun. So take care, my friend. I love you, and I'll see you at the opera.
To share some thoughts about Graeme Mudd, here is Patrick Staples, who has been happily laughing with Graeme in the bass section since 2013.
Hey Graeme, congratulations on your retirement. It would be impossible for me to sum up everything that I have to say about you in a 90-second video, so I think I'll just share a memory that I have of the first time we ever played a concert together. It was not in 2013 when I first joined the CPO, but way back in 2005 when I was a 17-year-old high school kid in the Calgary Youth Orchestra, and the CPO and CYO were playing Mahler 2 in a joint side-by-side performance. You and I were stand partners, and I remember just being in awe of your bow arm and how you were able to play in a way that was so relaxed and sensitive, but also powerful and controlled. I'd never seen someone use a footrest before, and I thought that was super cool. I remember you chatted with me like I was a colleague during the breaks, kept the whole section laughing, and generally just made it an unforgettable experience. I never could have imagined back then that we would one day actually become colleagues, and when I got my job here in 2013, getting to play in the section with you was one of the main things that I was looking forward to. Having played in the section with you for the past 7 years, I can honestly say that it's been everything I dreamed of and more. Seriously though, you're the definition of a professional. You're always prepared, you always sound amazing, and you just brighten everyone's mood with your jokes and positive attitude. Mostly positive attitude. Anyway, here's to you, Graeme. All the best in your retirement. Cheers.
At the end of each season, we also celebrate musicians in the Calgary Philharmonic who have reached significant career milestones. Please join us in congratulating, first of all, for completing 25 years of service in the Calgary Philharmonic, Assistant Principal Flute, Gwen Klassen. Principal Harp, Tisha Merbahill. And for completing 30 years of service in the Calgary Philharmonic, double bassist Trish Beretti-Reed, cellist Tom McGee, and double bassist Graeme Mudd. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. As we all wait for beautiful live music to return to our community, it's been great to be with you today and to share some stories about our great musicians.